Hello and welcome back to another Doctor Who action figure review. In today's review we're going to be taking a look at the history of the Dalek set number 6, which is based upon the story Evil of the Daleks circa 1967. And what a time to be a fan of that story, considering we've only just got the animation of Evil of the Daleks this year. So now you have some brand new figures based on that story. Now, before taking a look at these lovely toys, let's begin by taking a look at the colourful cardboard that came with these figures. So you get the gist with the boxes. It's the blue and silver style guide with the logo on the side. The figures are displayed in a window section on the packaging with the name of the story and the year of broadcasting. The gold foiled limited edition sticker is present, as well as the name of the set stating that this is number 6. And on the back you get a synopsis about the story, as well as some interesting information about the props if you're interested in that side of things, as well as promotional images of the figures themselves. Opening up the box, you get this lovely diorama of the throne room itself. It contains the Dalek Emperor, which is something I'll never doubt will get in figure form, but one can dream. But it does make a nice little display piece if you choose to keep it. So out of its cardboard tomb, both of the figures look brilliant. We have a third release of the Emperor's Guard, which has had a few new renditions, as well as a normal Dalek drone, which is a slightly new release as it features the new pupil, which was something seen in the latter half of this story. So beginning with the drone, as I said, it is technically a release from what we've had in previous sets, and I was hoping we would get to see this day. It was quite a rare occurrence to see a 60s Dalek with a pupil. It was something that was mostly seen during the 90s on almost every other product with this silver and blue design. It was featured on the Product Enterprise stuff, on the video tins, and even the Corgi Doctor Who stuff as well in the early 2000s. It was literally everywhere when I was a kid, and I just assumed that was the correct way. Although it was only ever seen once, and only once, in this now missing story, nonetheless it is nice to have an official version of this toy. I just love that this particular Dalek is just so unique and it does throw back a lot of memories. But apart from the Eyestalk, everything else seems to be the same. You have the egg cup dome lights, which are sadly not the same as they were seen on the previous set, where it was all clouded, which I thought was more accurate to the toys than we ever seen before. But on this one, it just seems only slightly faded on these, but it's nice nonetheless to have that they have retained this. Then taking a look at the Eyestalk, you have all the rings which have been painted in this nice baby blue colour, which is all neat and tidy. And you have the gloss black eyeball section with the pupil at the front. And just like the other 60s Dalek toys, they have been painted in this lovely vibrant silver, which just sheens when holding it up to an overexposed light, which again looks great. All paint apps around the neck bin are brilliant as always, with all the black sections along the mesh, and the same goes for the rings. There seems to be very tidy paint apps on these. The same goes with the midsection with all the mesh, and again painted in that very nice vibrant silver. And there seems to be a new grey wash on here. Comparing this to the older model, it doesn't seem to be as dark, but not as light as the previous wave from last year, so it could just be the trick of the light, or it just could be my eyes. But it's a nice little change, and as I said, I don't really mind, as I don't really pay much attention to it. You can't really tell the difference. And as per usual, you have the 70s type gun used here. It's painted in silver. Same goes with the plunger, with the actual plunger being painted in a gloss black. Then moving down to the skirt section, the hemispheres have been painted in this gorgeous baby blue colour, which, even though they need to be a lot darker, I quite like the fact that they've done this here. And then taking a look at the fender, it's been cast in this solid black colour with a lighter grey wash over the top to replicate all the scuff marks that these props would have had due to them being bashed around and mistreated. Loving the fact that they're carrying on with these paint apps, as it really does add a level of detail to what may have been seen on the actual props themselves. This is a really nice Dalek again. Great to have this variant instead of another generic 60s Dalek, which with slightly different paint apps. Now moving on to the Emperor's Guard, we've had a few variants of these in the past, starting with the one that came out many moons ago in the Dalek Collector Set number 2, which was around 2010. And then we had the Toys R Us variant in the 2-pack, which was in 2013. And now we have a slightly updated variant here in this brand new 2-pack. And along the line, they have been modified and tweaked, and the same has happened here. Looking at the eye, again, it's the 70s Eyestalk, because at this point the props were were revamped and they were given these new Eyestalks, with the new pupil being painted white to give that squinty look, which sets it off from the other two releases. The finish of the dome itself seems to be painted between a gloss as well as a matte, making it almost look like it's a silky paint colour, which is an interesting finish, I must say. The dome lights are exactly the same, they have this nice cloudy finish to them, and the paint apps on the neck, midsection and skirt are exactly the same. It's what you can expect on a 60s Dalek nonetheless, and it also includes some scuff marks on the fender, just like the Dalek drone. So to add a bit more context on the differences, here is the Emperor Guard that was released in the Dr. Dalek 2-pack, and as you can see on this one, not much has changed apart from the paint apps or the fact the eye is shorter. It is still a nice rendition, and it's nice to see that they've actually brought this variant to life again, and it's given an update after its initial release, which I haven't gotten me at the moment as it's in a box somewhere. And like I mentioned earlier on about the updated paint apps on the midsection, it isn't significantly different, but when you do compare them to an earlier release, you can start to notice the difference. I must admit it's slightly minute, but I am not sure if it is more accurate or not, but I am sure there is probably someone out there who can tell the difference. So with Articulation, just like every other Dalek toy, the dome can do a full 360. The Eyestalk can pivot up and down. There's also movement in the plunger and the gun stick. They're on ball joints. And you've also got 3 wheels on the bottom, 2 basic ones at the back, and a spinning wheel at the front, so you can move it in any position that you want. Overall, this is another fantastic set. The one-of-a-kind Pupil Dalek is a fantastic variant, even though it was a one-off from a missing serial, and the Emperor Guard is also a nice plus if you missed out on the original release. Like always, it is now available in B&M stores around the country, or on the moon, or out at sea. Thank you all for watching, and stay tuned for the Planet of the Daleks review. Stay tuned, and bye for now.